decades, global military strategy assumed one absolute, unbreakable truth. Wherever the United States military flies, it controls the skies. In Desert Storm, Kosovo, and Iraq, American air power was an unyielding shield. But the war in Iran just completely shattered that illusion. According to verified military aircraft loss registries, the United States coalition just suffered its heaviest single conflict air toll since the Vietnam War. 63 total aircraft hits, 43 completely destroyed, 20 left severely damaged, 16 different airframes impacted, fighter jets, stealth platforms, heavy strategic assets. None of them were safe. But here is the real twist. This wasn't the result of cinematic, high-altitude dogfights against rival aces. The Pentagon was blindsided by an entirely different doctrine of warfare. How did an asymmetrical adversary inflict this much damage on the most advanced air force in human history? To understand it, we have to look at the terrifying reality of what happened on the ground. To stop a world-class air force, you don't actually have to shoot it down mid-flight. It is far cheaper and far deadlier to catch it while it's sleeping. When hostilities erupted, Iranian forces didn't scramble fighter jets to meet American patrols over the Persian Gulf. Instead, they launched a highly coordinated, multi-axis strategy of mass saturation. They unleashed waves of low-cost loitering munitions and precision-guided ballistic missiles designed to overwhelm local air defense networks like Patriot and THAAD through sheer volume. Their primary targets weren't the frontline fighters. They were looking for the high-value, near-irreplaceable assets parked on the tarmac. The strategy was devastatingly effective. Let's look at the hard data. Look at the strategic backbone of U.S. logistics. The Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker fleet took a massive blow, 2 completely destroyed and 6 severely damaged. Right beside them, the airborne eyes of the theater, the Boeing E-3 Sentry AWACS, suffered 1 destroyed and 1 damaged. Think about the scale of that for a moment. These are massive, non-stealthy, unarmed aircraft. In open-source aviation forums, analysts have noted that the U.S. military doesn't simply build new E-3 Sentries anymore. Losing even one of these mobile radar command centers leaves a massive structural blind spot in the coalition's situational awareness. News reports from the region confirmed that these losses occurred during intense, late-night missile barrages, targeting regional coalition airfields. By targeting the refuelers and the radar planes on the ground, the strikes effectively crippled the operational range and coordination of American strike groups before they could even get wheels up. But the damage didn't stop with support aircraft. Saturation strikes managed to pierce the defenses of America's most elite aviation assets. Even the crown jewel of American stealth technology was caught in the crossfire. The data reveals that one Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II was listed as damaged, alongside one Boeing KC-46 Pegasus destroyed. It is a chilling demonstration of modern peer-to-peer conflict. Your radar-absorbent skin, your advanced electronic jamming suites, and your unmatched 5th-generation stealth geometry mean absolutely nothing if a piece of low-tech missile shrapnel tears through your fuselage while you are sitting in a hangar. As the Pentagon scrambled to relocate its remaining heavy assets further out of reach, a massive question remained. If the skies over the mainland were too dangerous for manned support fleets, how would the U.S. maintain eyes on the battlefield? The answer lay in a relentless, high-density drone campaign. But as we are about to see in Act 2, that campaign quickly turned into an absolute war of attrition, resulting in a single data spike so massive it redefined the cost of autonomous warfare. When you look at the master list of American aircraft losses, there is one data point that completely warps the scale of the entire chart. It is a single towering column of red ink. Out of 63 total assets hit, a staggering 30 belong to just one single platform, the General Atomics MQ-9 Reaper. 29 completely destroyed, 1 severely damaged. To put that into perspective, that is nearly half of all American air power casualties in this conflict sustained by a single type of aircraft. But why? To understand this catastrophic spike, we have to look at a fundamental clash in modern military design, a concept defense analysts call the expert barrier. For the past 2 decades, the MQ-9 Reaper was the undisputed king of asymmetric warfare. It was designed to loiter over counterinsurgency zones for up to 27 hours, tracking targets that lacked any meaningful way to shoot back. It didn't need stealth, and it didn't need speed. But against Iran's Integrated Air Defense Systems, or IADS, those exact design choices turned the Reaper into target practice. Flying low, slow, and broadcasting a massive radar signature, these drones were operating in an incredibly hostile electromagnetic envelope. Iranian regional forces deployed a multi-layered umbrella of dense, localized surface-to-air missiles, electronic jamming arrays, and loitering interceptors. And it wasn't just the Reapers. The high-altitude maritime surveillance fleet was hit too, with one Northrop Grumman MQ-4C Triton destroyed and another one severely damaged. Pentagon briefings quickly moved to frame these numbers not as a tactical defeat, but as a calculated economic trade-off. An executive defense official famously noted during a press conference, "We are trading silicon for blood. Every drone lost is a pilot who comes home alive." From an economic standpoint, losing a $30 million drone is vastly preferable to losing a $1 billion stealth bomber or a highly trained human crew. The Pentagon expected high attrition, but this massive war of attrition carries a hidden, dangerous twist. While losing unmanned platforms protected American crews, the sheer volume of shootdowns severely strained the coalition's immediate surveillance capabilities. Iran was successfully utilizing low-cost missile systems to deny the U.S. its vital, real-time intelligence feed over contested borders, forcing a massive emergency pivot in how Western forces deploy autonomous assets. Yet, while the drone fleet was absorbing the brunt of the high-altitude air defense network, an entirely different tragedy was unfolding closer to the ground. For the manned aircraft tasked with crossing directly into hostile territory, the danger wouldn't come from sophisticated radar systems. It would come from an anarchic, low-altitude danger zone. While the drone fleet was absorbing the brunt of the high-altitude missile networks, an entirely different kind of warfare was unfolding right against the deck. For the crews tasked with crossing directly into contested territory, the threat wasn't a multi-million-dollar radar-guided system tracked from hundreds of miles away. It was a chaotic, split-second knife fight against an enemy hidden in the terrain. Welcome to the low-altitude danger zone. When you look down the loss registry, the numbers tell a story of high-stakes, forward-deployed operations that met violent resistance on the ground. Look at the strike fighters. 4 McDonnell, Douglas F-15, E-Strike Eagles completely destroyed, alongside 1 Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II. And the helicopter fleet took an equally brutal hit. 4 MH-6 Little Birds wiped out, 2 Boeing CH-47 Chinooks, and 1 Boeing AH-64 Apache destroyed. Why were these elite platforms taking such heavy casualties? Because of the mission. When executing close air support or inserting special operations units behind enemy lines, these pilots had to drop below the safety of the clouds, entering the lethal envelope of man pads, shoulder-fired heat-seeking missiles, and dense networks of heavy anti-aircraft artillery. In this environment, modern electronics offer very little warning. An enemy soldier can step out of a cave, shoulder a missile, lock onto a heat signature, and fire in less than 10 seconds. But it wasn't just a threat while airborne. The data reveals an even more insidious tactical reality. Look at the utility and rescue assets. 1 Sikorsky HH-60. Pavehawk and 2 Sikorsky UH-60 Blackhawks are listed on the registry. But notice their status. They weren't completely vaporized in midair. They are listed as severely damaged. This points directly to landing zone ambushes. During high-risk medical evacuations and troop insertions, these transport helicopters were forced to hover or touch down in highly contested areas. Iranian regional forces and proxy units utilized low-tech, guided anti-tank missiles and heavy machine guns to pepper the aircraft while they were at their most vulnerable, stationary, close to the ground, and weighed down by troops. The crews managed to fly these battered Blackhawks and Pavehawks back to safety, a testament to their rugged design. But the airframes were left structurally warped and completely unflyable. Every single number's spike on this chart represents a tactical pivot. The base strikes forced the heavy tankers back. The dense air defenses turned the Reapers into scrap metal. and the low-altitude meat grinder took a devastating toll on forward-deployed crews. When you add all of these pieces together, they form a chilling new picture of modern combat, one that forces us to look at the ultimate conclusion of this war. When you take a step back and look at the final, macro view of this data, the numbers tell a story that goes far beyond a single campaign. They outline a fundamental paradigm shift in global warfare. Look at the final tally. Iran, 43 aircraft lost, Israel 22, and the United States 63. For the first time in modern history, a Western coalition operating the most advanced electronic warfare suites, low observable stealth geometry, and multi-billion-dollar network-centric capabilities suffered the highest numerical air casualties in the theater. The air war over Iran has provided a harsh, undeniable lesson for the future of global conflict. Air superiority is no longer something you can simply buy or take for granted. It is no longer guaranteed by having the most expensive stealth fighter or the most autonomous drone fleet. If your forward staging bases are vulnerable to low-cost, mass-saturated ballistic missile salvos, your multi-million-dollar jets will be crippled before they ever take off. If your unstealthy, long-endurance surveillance drones can be easily attrited by dense integrated air defense networks, your vital real-time intelligence feed will be choked out. And if you drop below the clouds to support ground forces, you enter an anarchic, low-altitude meat grinder where shoulder-fired missiles neutralize technological superiority in a matter of seconds. The Pentagon is already reevaluating its entire global posture based on these exact numbers. They are realizing that in a true peer-to-peer conflict, the cost of controlling the skies may soon become unsustainably high. As military strategists look to the future, one chilling conclusion stands out above all else. The era of uncontested American skies is officially over.